think it's on. I don't like this angle.
What's wrong with the angle?
I don't know. I think it's just because it's propped right here, but...
Did you make a post? That's going live?
Yeah, I did yesterday. And okay, sorry, I'm trying to... Okay, hey, what's up, everybody? Let us know you're on. Like, post below. Oh, what the hell, Kellen? Why not?
Kellen?
Why not? What up, Heather?
Fuck Heather.
Like, what the fuck? Kellen, that's not cool. I thought we were cool. Man, the dropped. Thank you.
Whatever.
Okay, so guys, as you're hopping on, say hey. Quit hopping off. We see it's going up and down. Okay, so thank you guys for joining us yesterday. I think it was we went live and we had good discussion, but we wanted to make sure our topics were kind of going to be separated by each time we go on, because if it gets too mumbo jumbo or we're on for too long, it can get a little crazy in that way when people go back and listen to whatever they want. So last night we kind of started talking about trust. We had some good questions coming in. So we wanted to talk a little bit more about, how trusting your significant other and, I guess whatever. So since I was just feeding the baby, I'll let you kind of start talking.
Since you were just feeding the baby?
Yeah, and you were like, I'm just going to wing it.
I am just going to wing it. We discussed it a little bit last time, talking about trust with your significant other. And like I said, we hit on it. No trust. Okay. Well, we hit on it a little bit last time, and I guess point I'm going to get to is that there's got to be trust in the relationship, but if you are in a relationship and you are not able to trust your significant other for whatever reason, rethink your relationship, really, if you can't trust the person that you're with. But a lot of things, some of the things that we discussed last time is that why do you not trust your significant other? As like, do you actually have reason to not trust them, or is it just shit that you're pulling out of your ass that you have fears of that makes you not trust them? So, I don't know. What did
Well, I know we were asked like, one thing we didn't talk about this last night. I think a lot of things with trust also come up with. Maybe it's not so much always mistrust in a relationship. It's like a respect issue too. Certain things which should be brought to the table if you find that your significant other is maybe doing something that you don't find is respectful. It doesn't mean you don't trust them, but it's important to bring it up so they know. And as you grow in a relationship, things obviously, you need to talk about things. Trust also has to be earned. Now, if you're in a relationship and things are going great and there's nothing wrong, but you're all of a sudden like, I don't trust them for X, Y, Z, you kind of have to think about like, well, what's triggering that? Is it something going on just with yourself, or was there like a legitimate reason? Like he had brought up, like if she comes home and there's sperm in her hair, which that kind of got a debate, or like if you'll notice different changes.
For instance, in my line of work, sometimes I stay at work late for one reason or another. Am I actually staying late, or am I getting a rim job on the side? I'm just saying, it's little things, it's things like that, that, I'm at work, and I'm not hiding anything, so it's just something simple as that.
Yeah, and I think another thing is to make sure that if you're hiding something, they're going to know. So, like with us, we were asked yesterday about, do you guys check each other's text messages and stuff? There was a time where we were. There was. Me, because of something that he was doing that I didn't find respectful. and I was going through his phone, and I, to this day, I still say I had every reason to. And then when things started getting better, you know, we both had insecurities, and he was going through my stuff and my Facebook, and we finally got it all out there, and things were fine. But since then, you know, our relationship has grown. And I think what's also really hard is when you're in the beginning of a relationship, you know, the first 6 months or so, it's like you're not so much established of where things are going yet. You haven't been together long enough. I mean, I know some people get really serious really quick. But really opening up that line of communication if something is bothering you, because everybody is insecure about something. You know, like, I'm not going to lie, he's a very, very attractive man. I have seen girls check him out. And he's a very overly friendly guy sometimes. And, you know, I've had to say, like, hey, I hope your mom's on. Say hi to your mom.
Hi, Mom! Talking about rim jobs.
You know, you have to say things, and he has to me before, and it's just important to let that be out there, because if you don't trust somebody at the end of the day, your relationship is never going to work out. And, you know, to bring up my last relationship, my ex-husband, that was our biggest problem for the whole marriage, is he always thought I was cheating on him all the time, no matter what I did. Like, if I went to my Beachbody event, you know, those of you who are network marketers, you go to these events, you're not texting and talking on the phone the whole time to your spouse. You don't have time. You're there to network. You're there to do your business. But if I didn't check in, I was cheating.
Hi, Chris Dad.
Your sister's on. So that's such a big deal, you know, like, so he was just in Vegas, and we didn't talk a whole lot, because he was there for a bachelor party. He was there with his best friend that he hasn't seen. He barely sees his best friend. So I was like, okay, we check in a little bit once a day, whatever, it's fine. But the biggest thing is if you don't trust your spouse to do something, you need to get out of the relationship now. Or you need to figure out what it is that you don't trust. If anybody has questions they want to ask, like give a specific answer about something. Where's Garrett? I told Garrett to be on here.
I know, I haven't seen Garrett on here.
Garrett is the one with all the questions.
Yeah. Also, some that I've seen is that sometimes when you're having...
My nails. I ripped off all my gel, and then I broke all my nails, so I got like old lady hands.
Some things I've seen is that when someone is having issues trusting the other person, it's because that they're probably doing something wrong themselves. And so, ipso facto, that means their significant other is doing something wrong because they're doing something wrong. And, yeah.
Especially if there's no signs of the other person doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. He's probably getting a rim job. Garrett is, Kellen. Maybe. We don't know if Karen does that kind of stuff. Maybe she does.
I don't know what that is.
What?
Is it licking the butthole?
Yeah, the rim job is licking the butthole.
Oh, okay. Butthole licking.
So another big thing, I'm trying to think, what else was asked last night? Guys, post your question.
Yeah,
Kellen, message Garrett and tell Garrett to get on this thing.
Woo! Missy, that's right.
Going back to my ex-husband's with that, it was just constant assuming I was doing things when I never was. And it got really tiring because one thing that we try to do that we've really grown on is if we discuss something.
We'll get to you, Rebecca.
Yeah, once we discuss something, case closed, done. Because he hates, in the beginning, I would repeat myself over and over and over.
I hate repetition.
And I guess sometimes, like, for me, I'm like, I have to make sure I get my point across of what I'm talking about. And I was talking with somebody else about this earlier, that people will tend to hold grudges and they bring something up that happened a long time ago. You guys, when something happens, your incident happens, you're worried about something, talk about it, case closed. Case closed, guys, okay? Unless it's not being resolved. If the issue that you're going through is something that's still going on.
No, it's not all about Garrett.
No, Garrett was just on our thing yesterday, and a guy named Mark, and they were asking a lot of questions. So bring up the situation and then let it go. But if you do not see changes in what's bothering you, then I, definitely feel it's necessary to bring it up. But also, when Mark asked yesterday about the reading of the text messages, and I said, we both leave our phones out. We both have nothing to hide. We have like a letter password on there, but it's more so the kids don't dial 911 or whatever, so you're not butt dialing people. But, he'll grab my phone and whatever. It doesn't bother me because I don't have anything to hide. But I think also, like, when you're talking with somebody, if you are having a conversation, okay, let's just give an example. Like, okay, say you're talking with the opposite sex or whatever. And a lot of times, and, I'm going to kind of throw him under the bus. I don't think he realizes he's very, very, very nice. And sometimes I think, especially girls, will get the wrong idea.
Don't feel bad, Kellen.
What?
I got you.
Gosh, I still feel bad. Okay.
Don't feel bad.
He can be extremely nice, and like if I was on the other end, I would take it as flirting. And I had to call him out on it before, and he's like, "You should just trust me" or whatever. And it wasn't so much a trust; it was like they probably think you're hitting on them, even though he probably doesn't think he is. The girl probably does because girls are that way, and I'm sure other girls can vouch for that. So just kind of be mindful of when you're having conversations with people. Hold on, I want to go up to what? Okay, was it time? Okay, was it just time that helped you heal that lack of trust you had? Bring the trust back up. Rebecca, what are you pertaining to? Like, if you're for us?
If you're pertaining to our relationship, how the trust was at the beginning, it wasn't so much time to heal and get the trust back or something like that. It's the fact that it was pretty much like no holds barred to where either one of us brought up issues that we had with the other in terms of trust, and we dealt with that shit. Anytime I felt something was wrong or needed to be addressed, I brought up to her. Anytime she felt like I was fucking up, doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing, or whatever that was making her think about her trust for me. Like she brought it up to me, and we had a decent amount of argument. We got our fair share of arguments and discussions, late night discussions, and everything. So it
wasn't so. I mean, it does take time because a lot of those feelings were still there. Like, well, what if? And it does take over time seeing that this is gonna work. And just to kind of speak a little bit of realness about it, obviously getting pregnant with Silas, it was a big whoops. It was a very big accident, and it was something, I guess we both didn't know that if it was what we wanted, because we were in a rough patch at that time, and there was a lot of other things going on that we're not going to talk about. But it just took time of letting everything go and not bringing it up, because like I'll be honest, and he knows this about me. It will eat at me alive, and if I keep talking about it, it's gonna push him away. If I'm constantly like, "Well, gosh, this is bothering me," and he'd be like, "Why is this bothering you? Nothing is going on." That is right. The best things in life are not planned. But I knew for me, I had to bury it and let it go because everything was all out on the table. Our feelings for each other were all out on the table. What we were going to do from here on out was all out on the table. And I needed just for him to show me, and that's what it was. And things have been great ever since. We rarely argue. We don't really have much to argue about. Like, I can't even remember the last time we got into like a legit argument.
I was about to say that too. Like, I don't even remember. And for a different day, like, we'll get into. Like, I know some Garrett had questions about arguments and how to deal with it, or how to, I guess, not be so confrontational in a relationship, I guess. And there's more to talk about and discuss on that specific topic.
Yeah, which we will.
Well, which we will eventually, just not on this video live feed, because it would just go on and on and on.
Okay, so Rebecca, you said, I just found out my boyfriend was cheating on me, and we're trying to move past it, but trying to build trust back. Okay, so that is not something that I mean, okay, so I have been cheated on in the past with one of my exes who actually was physically abusive to me too, and I actually stayed with him because I was a fucking idiot, but I was in high school. Cheating is something I personally don't know that I could ever get past. Like, if I were to know he while we're in a relationship, put his dick in somebody else, I don't think I could ever handle that, because I'm a firm believer that I don't care how drunk you are. Oh, I blacked out. Okay. Unless you were, and I hate to say this, unless you were like completely doped and date rape, drug, things like that, you know what you're doing. Okay. So cheating to me is not okay at all. So I know for me personally, I would be done. It would be beyond over. There would be no working a way around that, because it would never leave my mind. I would never be able to forgive that. But that's just me. I know there are people who have come from that because, oh, it was an accident. But I look at it like, how is it an accident? Nobody accidentally took your pants off and your vagina fell on top of his dick. That doesn't happen. Something else had to lead up to that. And I don't care how drunk you are. You have control over your body. And if you're somebody who gets that wasted that you don't have control over your body, that's a whole nother issue. So that's probably not the answer you wanted to hear. But for me, I couldn't handle it. I don't know if he would be able to handle it.
No, I wouldn't be able to handle it. But just to address the also, what about physical abuse? That is there. I don't think there's you can't, in terms of trust, if you're trying to move past a physical abusive relationship, and work on things. That's a no-go. If you're in a relationship and you are being physically abused, don't work on it. Get out. There's nothing positive about that. If you're a woman and a man is physically abusing you in a relationship, there's almost zero reasons to be physically abusive, I guess. But the only other reason would be in self-defense. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, get out of that, because if he does it once or twice, he's going to keep on doing it. No matter how many times he apologizes, he's going to change, blah, blah, blah. It's not healthy. Get the fuck out.
And even if you have kids, like you guys, I can speak here. My ex-husband and I, we stayed together for our kids for the longest time, and it's wrong. It's not okay. Your kids don't need to see that. Mm-mm. It's not healthy. Your kids need to see a happy and loving relationship. My kids love seeing how stupid we are with each other and how we play. And my kids love seeing how my ex-husband and his girlfriend are. They're good together, and that's so important. So don't stay together because you have children. That's the worst thing you can do. Even though it's hard. It's hard seeing that my kids have that stepmom role. I hate it. But she's great to them. He's great to them. And that's what matters at the end of the day. Hold on, Camilla. I want to go. Jennifer, you talked about you're a talker. Okay, I'm a talker. Things about my fiance is very quiet and drives me nuts. So I will also say this. So I'm also someone I overthink too much, and I think it's because I'm home, and I've been home for almost 9 years. Yeah, I love my job. I do. But I'm in these four walls all the time. So I'll overthink things, and things will go in my brain. And there's so many times that I'll start thinking bad things, oh my gosh, what if this is going on? And I'll want to talk about it, but there's no point, because it could bring up a stupid fight that doesn't need to happen, because I'm putting things into my brain. And he used to call me out on that all the time back in the beginning. He'd be like, where is this coming from? Why are you freaking out about this? This is out of nowhere. You're being stupid. And it is stupid. So I think if you have, validation for whatever it is that you're mistrusting for, great, talk about that. But if it's just something in your brain led to think this that could happen in 6 months, that's not worth talking about. Talk about the incident when the incident happens too. Don't talk about, let's say somebody fucked up 6 months ago. Why are you going to bring that up now? That's stupid. Don't do that either. You are so right.
Camilla?
Wait, what is Joe talking about? You are so right, but men and women do it to each other.
Oh,
it to.
Joe, I'm not talking about physical abuse.
Well, yeah, that's mental.
I
Oh,
don't mental like Camila. I don't remember Camila.
Camilla. Yeah, that's
Camilla, if I pronounce, sorry if I'm butchering your name. It's the same concept with mental abuse. Get out of it. It's not worth it.
any abuse at all is bad. Mental, physical, any type of that, you need to get out or go seek help. Because if it's something that's new, like say you've been married for 25 years, that's hard, you know? I never thought I would be divorced. Nobody gets married to want to be divorced. And I know that if, you know, we ever do get married, I don't want to have to go down that road. And I definitely think work on it. But if it's something that's been there from day one, they're probably not going to change. If it's something that is just now starting, go get help. Go seek a counselor and figure out why this is happening now. You can control the physical abuse, Missy. You can get the fuck out. Pack your kids and get out. I have another friend on my Facebook. She posts every day about her husband who's wasted and physically abusive. He wasn't even there for the birth of her damn baby she just had not that long ago. And it's like, why are you still there? I can't. It sucks if you are being physically abused. I honestly feel bad for you. But if you're not getting out, I can't feel bad for you for that. You have to make the choice to get out of there. I'm sure you have friends. If you're being physically abused, if one of my good friends is being physically abused, I don't care if it would be an inconvenience. They're more than welcome to stay in my home because that's not okay. And I'm sure he'd be the same way.
And same with mental abuse, you can control it. If you think you don't have control over your own life, you're fucking stupid.
Right.
It is your fucking life. Don't let anyone dictate how you mentally and physically feel. Do not let anyone lay hands on you or mentally abuse you because you don't know your own worth.
Right. And I think so many people, when you've been abused, because I have been in an abusive relationship, you feel like you're not worth getting out of that. Like this is all you're able to get. It's not true. Yeah, it will take time for you to rebuild yourself and rebuild your self-esteem. But ladies, men, even if the men can be abused too, guys, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to your kids because I know you guys have children. They don't need to be a part of that either because when they see that mommy is depressed, it's going to ripple onto them.
I said, you feel trapped.
You are something without him, Missy. You're making excuses for him.
That's what we're talking about. It's an excuse. There's no reason not to leave. You are your own person. You know your own worth.
So you're telling me it's okay, like, I'm nothing unless he beats the shit out of me every single day? I mean, no, that's not okay. After being in the abusive relationship I was in, it was really hard for me to get into my next relationship because every time I thought if there was an argument, I was going to get hit. It took a long time to rebuild my own, but I'm telling you right now, if he was to ever do anything to me, first off, I'd cut his balls and feed it to him. And then it would be done because it's not worth it to me. I don't care that we have a baby or not. It's not okay. It is never okay. Abuse is never okay. And there are crisis centers you can go to. There is a lot of help out there, but it is never okay. And you are something without him. You are your own person. That's another thing with relationships, guys. Just because you're in a relationship, yes, you are a we. This is supposed to be, your partner is supposed to be the most important person in your life, okay? They really should be. But at the same time, you are still more important than them, if that makes sense. Like, to myself, I need to make sure that I'm taking care of me. He needs to be making sure he's taking care of himself. Because if you yourself are not happy, which I'm sure you're not, Missy, if you yourself are not happy, you cannot be happy in your relationship. You cannot make the other person happy either. It is very true. And they seemed not to find a way out. I don't know why people don't find a way out. I just think people are scared to leave. They're scared that this person's going to come after them. And I've heard of that. And it sucks. But you guys, they do have crisis centers. They do have places you can go. I mean, I'm not super familiar. I was really young in my abusive relationship, and he was young, so and we were only together like 2 years. So I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure if you Googled something in your area, you definitely can get a restraining order. There are ways, guys. People do it all the time. Don't make excuses for yourself. So, anything else you want to touch on quick with the whole?
I don't know. We kind of went off the rail.
I know, we went off the rail with all
the abusive relationships. But coming back to the trust, like if you are just new in a relationship and it's already starting to go south in terms of trust or abuse, and their person's like, "Oh, it'll never happen again," bullshit. Get out of it. There's always someone better. And I said, know your own worth. But aside from the physical and mental abuse, if anyone else has any questions about mental and physical abuse, answer's going to be the same from both of us. Get the fuck out. Quit making excuses because you always have a way out. Yeah. So, like, there's always a way out. You're just making an excuse. But aside from that, going back to more on the trusting part,
if anybody has questions they want to ask about trust or ask us about our relationship, we're pretty much an open book. Yeah. We'll share pretty much anything for the most part.
But in terms of trust, if you are in a relationship and either person has made a mistake in the past, in the beginning of a relationship, and they haven't made the same mistake again, like she has said before, don't bring that shit up. Just because you are mad or upset about something, or because you started thinking about it again, and then so it started making you question things, pulling things out of your ass that aren't really there, because that's just going to make things worse instead of getting better. So
don't hold a grudge.
Yeah. So yes, it's simple. Don't hold grudges. Forgive. And I'm a big, firm believer in forgive, don't forget. I mean, you can remember what they did, but don't hold it against them. But yeah.
Yeah, as long as, like we shared with the trust with us in the past, there hasn't been any duplication. Nothing has happened of it again. So we don't bring it up. There's no reason to. Bring up current events. If something you find that your significant other is doing that you don't feel is to be respectful or it's bothering you, right then and there, bring it up. Don't bring up something that's not happening, because that's just stupid. So. And
Missy, if you're, I'm assuming you're still talking about the physical abuse in the relationship, what do you tell your parents? You tell your parents exactly that you are in a relationship / marriage. I mean, I don't know specifically or personally, Missy, but if you are in a marriage that you've been with 30 plus years, you have kids, you tell your family just that. Hey, I've been with so-and-so person for 30 plus years, and it has been hell. I stuck in it because of the kids, because I feel like I'm nothing without them. But this individual has been physically abusive to me, and you need help. You need that strength to get out. I guarantee your parents, your family, friends, a stranger on the sidewalk will help out.
Yeah, people aren't going to tolerate abuse very well. So I know it's scary to talk about. I know it's scary to come out about it, but you have to protect yourself and you have to protect your kids, because you never know. I don't know if abuse happens to your children, but that's a hard limit right there. A motherfucker would be in prison. So you need to think about that. And Jackie, thank you for saying what you said. Respect yourself. That's super, super important to respect yourself.
And say, just a personal thing about me, about coming out and doing the best thing. Because I mean, even though you're scared because you're scared what's going to happen, repercussions, or if any at all. When I was younger, technically I don't know the right term, but I was sexually molested by a guy I trusted at my church. And the thing that made me come out about it was he was wanting to take he asked my girlfriend at the time, he was wanting to take her out for breakfast or something. And I was like, you know what, I can't let anything happen to someone else. So guess what I did? I came out about it and I got it taken care of. I was scared shitless. I was.
And you're a kid too, and it happens as a kid.
So I was. So yeah, I was scared shitless to come out of that because I was, feared about what people would think of me, who would say something to me. Guess what? I wasn't at fault. I had no reason to be fucking scared. I had everyone there for support. So, I had no reason to be scared. The same concept as this. In an abusive relationship, get the fuck out. Say something to someone.
Yeah, there's no excuse behind it. There really isn't.
Yeah.
So.
No excuse. But other than that, in terms of trust, I'm pretty sure we said it all. And
unless anybody has a question, we'll give it a minute. I don't know if we'll go live. I don't know your work schedule. I know you're working Saturday. We'll probably take tomorrow off, and then we can talk tomorrow. I have a list of things that people want to hear about, which we're, handling finances in a relationship, especially for people who are married, because that is a huge argument thing, which I don't think I've ever argued about money. No. That's because, I feel like with money, well, we'll go to that then. Communication, one about hobbies, which a friend of mine that I went to high school with made this. Her husband's a huge gamer. That's this one, too.
A huge gamer? I like playing games.
You're a huge gamer, but it did bother me a lot in the beginning, but we'll talk about that later. I can't remember some of the other topics. Oh, goals, like relationship goals for your future, things, how to talk about that. So if you guys have other topics you want to hear from, please, you can direct message me, post below. Feel free to message either one of us, anything. Like I said, we're pretty much an open book. But that's it. So I don't see any questions. So we'll call it a night. And we will probably see you guys Saturday night, probably around the same time. You are super welcome. And have a good night.
Have a good night.